വ്യൂവേഴ്സ് എല്ലാവരും ആദ്യത്തെ 2 വീഡിയോ കണ്ടു കാണുമല്ലോ. ഇനി അടുത്ത വീഡിയോയിലേക്ക് പോകാം. വീഡിയോ ഉപകാരപ്രദമായി എന്ന് തോന്നിയാൽ ലൈക്ക് ചെയ്യാനും ഷെയർ ചെയ്യാനും മറക്കരുതേ. നിങ്ങളുടെ അഭിപ്രായങ്ങൾ കമൻറ്റ് ചെയ്യണേ. എക്സ്ചേഞ്ച് റേറ്റ്. ഫോറിൻ എക്സ്ചേഞ്ച്. Foreign exchange refers to all currency other than the domestic currency of a given country. All currencies other than the domestic currency of a given country is called a foreign exchange. Foreign exchange rate. Foreign exchange rate refers to rate at which one currency exchange for other. One currency exchange for other is called a foreign exchange rate. Currency depreciation refers to decrease in the value of domestic currency in terms of foreign currency. Decrease the value of domestic currency in terms of foreign currency is called currency depreciation. Currency appreciation. Currency appreciation refers to increase the value of domestic currency in terms of foreign currency. Currency appreciation refers to increase the value of domestic currency in terms of foreign currency. Fixed exchange rate system. Fixed exchange rate system refers to the system in which the rate of exchange for currency is fixed by the government. Fixed exchange rate system refers to the system in which the rate of exchange for currency is fixed by the government. Flexible exchange rate system. Flexible exchange rate system refers to the system in which the rate of exchange for currency is fixed by the demand and supply of different currency in the foreign exchange market. Flexible exchange rate system refers to the system in which the rate of exchange for currency is fixed by the demand and supply of different currency in the fixed exchange rate market. Managed floating rate system. Managed floating rate system refers to system in which the rate of exchange for currency is fixed by demand and supply forces and central bank. Exchange rate fixed by demand and supply force and central bank. In case of fixed exchange rate system, exchange rate fixed by the government. In flexible exchange rate system, rate of exchange fixed by demand and supply of different currency. In case of managed floating system, rate of exchange fixed by demand and supply force and central bank. Outflow of foreign exchange. Imports of goods and service, unilateral transfers sent abroad, purchase of asset in foreign country, speculation. Imports of goods and service, unilateral transfers sent abroad, purchase of asset in foreign country, speculation are the outflow of foreign exchange. Inflow of foreign exchange. Export of goods and service, foreign investment, remittance from abroad, speculation. Export of goods and service, foreign investment, remittance from abroad, speculation are the inflow of foreign exchange. Fixed exchange rate system, also called pegged exchange rate system. Fixed exchange rate system, also called pegged exchange rate system. Flexible exchange rate system, also called floating exchange rate system. Flexible exchange rate system called floating exchange rate system. Managed floating system, also called dirty floating. Managed floating system, also called dirty floating. Demand of foreign exchange called outflow of foreign exchange. Demand of foreign exchange called outflow of foreign exchange. Supply of foreign exchange called inflow of foreign exchange. Supply of foreign exchange called inflow of foreign exchange. Income effect and substitution effect. ആദ്യം നമുക്ക് ഇൻകം ഇഫക്റ്റ് നോക്കാം. ഇൻകം ഇഫക്റ്റ്. Income effect refers to change in consumption resulting from a change in real income. Income effect refers to change in consumption resulting from a change in real income. Substitution effect. Substitution effect refers to change in consumption pattern that arise due to changing relative price of goods. Substitution effect refers to change in consumption pattern that arise due to changing relative price of goods. Consumer have tendency to replace or substitute luxury item with a cheaper alternative when income decrease or price increase. Consumer have tendency to replace or substitute luxury item with a cheaper alternative when income decrease or price increase. Demand theories include Fisher's transaction approach to demand for money, Fisher's transaction approach to demand for money, Keynes theory of demand for money, Keynes theory of demand for money, Tobin's portfolio approach to demand for money, Tobin's portfolio approach to demand for money, Baumol inventory approach to transaction demand for money, Baumol's inventory approach to transaction demand for money, Friedman's theory of demand for money, Friedman's theory of demand for money. Quantity theory, Irving Fisher, transaction approach to demand for money. It is a neoclassical theory. Quantity theory of money is framework to understand price change in relation to supply of money in the economy. Increase in money supply creates inflation. Two main conclusion of quantity theory. There is a direct proportionate relationship between quantity of money and general price level. There is a direct proportionate relationship between quantity of money and general price level. Second point, there is an inverse proportionate relationship between quantity money and value of money. There is an inverse proportionate relationship between quantity money and value of money. Assumptions of quantity theory. Demand for money remain constant. Trade and business activities remain constant. Supply of credit money remain constant. Velocity of money remain constant. Demand for money remain constant. Trade and business activity remain constant. Supply of credit money remain constant. Velocity of money remain constant. Quantity theory of money formula. MV equal to PT. MV equal to PT. M refers to money supply. V velocity of money. P general price of goods. T all transaction. MV equal to PT. Money supply into velocity of money equal to general price of goods into all transactions. Keynes theory of demand for money, propounded by John Maynard Keynes in his book The General Theory of Employment, Interest and Money in 1936. This shows the relationship between the interest rate and quantity of money the public wish to hold. When interest rates are high, rate would be expected to fall and bond price would be expected to rise. So bonds are more attractive than money when interest rates are high. When interest rates are high, bonds are more attractive than money. Under the speculative motive, money demanded is negatively related to interest rate. Tobin portfolio approach to demand for money. According to Tobin, people hold a portfolio of assets, some cash, some bonds. The viewpoint of Tobin, people hold a portfolio of assets. Ideal cash is safe because no risk, but earns zero income or interest. No risk, no gain. Bonds earn interest, but they are risky. Therefore, people hold a balanced combination of both safe and risky portfolio of assets. It is depend on the individual attitude to risk. Like Keynes, Tobin show the liquidity preference is inversely related to rate of interest. Like Keynes, Tobin show the liquidity preference is inversely related to rate of interest. When the interest rate is high, people change their portfolio to bonds and hold less cash. When interest rate is high, people change their portfolio to bonds and hold less cash. Baumol's inventory approach to transaction demand for money. Baumol model describes money demand in terms of trade-off between liquidity and rate of return. Baumol's model describes money demand in terms of trade-off between liquidity and rate of return. Baumol assumed that consumer keep his income in the form of either cash in hand or savings account deposit. Consumer keep income in the form of cash or savings account. Cash pay no nominal interest. Savings account pay interest rate in his opportunity cost of holding cash. Friedman theory of demand for money. Friedman theory of demand is partially Keynesian and partially non-Keynesian. It is a wealth theory of demand. Friedman theory of demand is called a wealth theory of demand. Demand for money is assumed to depend on three major factors: total wealth to be held in various forms of asset, relative price and return on one form of wealth as compared to other form, taste and preference of the wealth holders. Demand for money depends on total wealth to be held in various forms of asset, relative price and return on one form of wealth as compared to other form, taste and preference of wealth holders. Friedman considered 5 forms in which wealth can be held. First one, money. Second, bond. Third, equities. Fourth, physical and non-human goods. Fifth, human capital. Money, bond, equity, physical and non-human goods, human capital. Cobb-Douglas production function. The Cobb-Douglas functional form of production function is widely used to represent relationship of an output and two input. It is used to represent the relationship of an output and two input. It is a linear homogeneous production function which taken into account only two input, labor and capital, for the entire output of manufacturing industry. It taken into account two input, labor and capital, for entire output of manufacturing industry. Cobb-Douglas production ഫംഗ്ഷൻ്റെ ഇക്വേഷനാണ് Q ഈക്വൽ ടു A K alpha L beta. Q equal to output, K equal to capital, L equal to labor, A alpha beta positive constants.